Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
Brooks Running has a new shoe for you runners out there. Did you hear that? Better turn up your volume. In fact, turn it up to the max. Introducing the all-new Ghost Max. It's got all kinds of things to make your knees and ankles feel protected, like Max Cushion, Max Soft Landings with DNA Loft V2 foam, and Max Smooth Rides with their Glide Roll Rocker. Feel better on your run with Ghost Max. Learn more at brooksrunning.com.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast. This is Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Central Texas Life. I'm so happy to have these lovely ladies here to talk about a very serious and important subject in Central Texas, and it has to do with the Advocacy Center for Crime Victims and Children. We have the relatively, you both are kind of new to the position, right? Allie, I got your name, Asherle.
Yes, correct.
Allie
You got
Asherle
it.
is the new executive director.
Correct, yes.
And Lori McCarter is the director of advancement.
Yes.
And it is just a delight to have you here because the Advocacy Center deals with the really somber topic of crime victims.
Yes.
And the numbers are stunning. As I look at your website, that, and of course, since 1976 here in Waco,
Correct.
it started out as the Rape Crisis Center. So it was kind of, sexual assault kind of situation. But that's not the case anymore, right? It's just any kind of crime.
Yes, so you're correct. We started in 1976 as the Waco Rape Crisis Center, and over kind of like a long history of evolving and adding services, we evolved into what we would call an umbrella organization to address sort of the needs of crime victims in kind of a wraparound way. And so instead of people having to go to here for this and here for that and a different building and across town, they can get everything they need under one roof. And so we have 3 client-facing programs that all operate together, but also in distinct ways. We have our Children's Advocacy Center, which is based on a national model and works closely with law enforcement and the Department of Family and Protective Services to serve minors who have, there's an allegation or an outcry of abuse or neglect. We address that from a medical standpoint. We offer forensic interviews that play a part in the legal proceedings when a case goes to court. And we offer services at no cost. All of our services are at no cost to the client and are available to both the primary victim of crime, the person it happened to, and also the secondary victim, so maybe their family or friends who it's also impacted. We have our Victim Center, which offers therapy and counseling to people of all ages who have experienced a crime. So maybe it is someone who it just happened to, or maybe this is something that happened to you 30, 40 years ago, and you are ready to talk to someone about it and start receiving services. Yes.
Yeah.
And
so there's no statute of limitations when it comes to
not for
victims of crime like that.
Not for our services. And so we do serve all victims of violent crime. Most of our clients are under the age of 12, and most of our clients have experienced some sort of sexual violence. But we operate a 24-hour crisis hotline, which responds to calls where someone has been sexually assaulted and provides hospital accompaniment while they receive their sexual assault forensic exam and helps them walk through that process.
Yeah, I mean, the hope would be they haven't been violated, and then what happens afterwards is as traumatic, you know.
Right. So they're able to, from kind of the point of something happening, we are there to walk alongside people for whatever amount of time they want to stay with us, whether that's through the initial services, case management, and then counseling. We also work to address violence before it happens. So we're kind of simultaneously addressing violence and also trying to work ourselves out of a job.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yes.
You know, over the years when I would interview folks from the Advocacy Center, I said, I just wish there wasn't a need for you folks.
Right, exactly.
To be doing this work. It would be great to not have a need in a community for an Advocacy Center.
We feel the same way. And so because of that, our third program is our prevention and education department, and so they are working primarily with youth and with young people in schools, youth serving organizations, and just in the community in general, with programming to prevent violence before it happens. So they're talking about things like respect and healthy relationships and consent and conflict resolution, and doing programming around that. And the Advocacy Center serves 6 Central Texas counties. Our main office is here in Waco, so McLennan County, and then we also serve Bosque, Falls,
That's a huge area.
Freestone, Hill, and Limestone County. It is a huge area, and we have satellite offices in all but 2 of those counties, or one of those counties, excuse me. And so clients can elect to, if they want to receive services in person in the satellite office in their county, if they're in one of the rural counties, or if they want to receive services virtually. So we have virtual options for almost all of our services. That came about, of course, as an adaptation during the pandemic.
After COVID,
yes,
a lot of things.
And we found that it serves a lot of our clients well in terms of not having to drive somewhere if transportation is an issue. And then or they can come to Waco and receive services here. So that's kind of a broad overview of the work that we do.
Well, the numbers are stunning. I mean, in reading the statistic, it says research shows as many as 1 in 4 girls will be a victim of sexual abuse by the age of 18, and it's 1 in 6 boys.
Yes, that's
I can't
correct.
even get my head wrapped around.
Yeah, it is a tough statistic, and unfortunately, right now is a busy time for us. Our the times that we're busy or times that things are a bit slower ebb and flow with the school year.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it ebbs and flows with the
this.
School year because kids or students have been at home for a long period of time, whether that's summer break or spring break or Christmas break, and then they come back to school and now they have someone to tell that something has happened to them, a teacher, a counselor, someone, because the majority of sexual abuse of children happens within the home, within someone that they know, whether that's a relative or a friend.
You refer to it as a family secret, passed from one generation to the next, and that's the thing. That it's learned behavior that goes from one generation to another.
Sure, which is where our prevention
if
folks
you could
step
break
in.
that cycle.
Right. Yes.
Well, Lori, your background is in education.
Yes,
and
it
so, again, you're kind of recent addition to the Advocacy Center for Crime Victims and Children. And so tell me, what has, kind of getting immersed in this kind of a different direction for you, in a way. I mean, I guess education is education's education. But
it was interesting because as I was interviewing for the position, not this one, they actually created this position for me.
Well, good.
And that was wonderful.
Yeah.
They found out I had a lot of fundraising experience and grant writing, and so they were like, oh,
we need that.
Light bulb just went off.
That's right.
So that's how this all evolved, and that's how I actually got brought on as director of advancement. And so I was excited. I wasn't sure at first. This was definitely a different venue for me.
Right.
Even though I had done education-wise, I was children, and so, of course, that was near and dear to my heart. I love to serve the community, and I think that we all need to be servants and have that servitude attitude. And this was a way of me doing something a little bit different in that arena. So I did pray about it a lot, and I decided that this was where I guess he wanted me to work at this point. At the beginning, I can't tell you that I was a little overwhelmed at what I read, the numbers, seeing the clientele. It was a little more difficult for me.
It's got to be emotionally hard.
Yeah, we're always looking for ways to help promote positive mental health for our staff. They're dealing with, they're hearing, nobody comes to the Advocacy Center unless they've experienced basically the worst thing that's ever happened to them. Oh. And so all of our staff are hearing these stories over and over again.
And then often it's at the hands of somebody that they knew and trusted and loved.
Right. So we always try to provide opportunities for our staff to be informed about vicarious trauma and ways to prevent that and manage that, because it is tough, and it is tough. Even Lori and I are not in positions at this point where we're working one-on-one with clients like most of the rest of our staff are. But even just being able to see the numbers come in or see the people who are walking through our doors, it's sort of a sobering reminder of the level of the problem and how important the work that we're doing is.
Well, and to maintain, for your staff to maintain their, emotional and mental balance in dealing with people who are experiencing this. You called it secondary trauma, but
yes, secondary trauma or vicarious trauma, where you're hearing stories that are of other people's trauma, and then I think we can all imagine, like, the more you hear that, the more it begins to impact you, and so we have to be really careful about managing that and being proactive about our own sort of mental health and well-being.
You have, in looking, on your website, I saw, you have a fabulous staff, but a lot of staff members.
Yes.
In fact, you're not even on it yet. I think you need to get added to the website. Oh. I was looking for your name.
I thought you were too.
Well,
we'll have to double check.
I don't know,
and that's okay.
Very new to this. But, a lot of people, and it costs money. You don't charge the clients.
Oh, no, yes.
So let's talk a little bit about how it's funded. I know recently you had a fabulous event with the purse bingo, designer purse bingo, and the community loves to come together and really help sell out an event like that. But do you do other fundraising aside from that? You're doing grant writing, I guess, Lori.
Yes, ma'am, and I do some of that, and actually have received some recently. And I was like, oh, this was wonderful.
Oh, that is good.
But we have several other events during the year. Our next major event is called Giving Tuesday, which we will be doing.
Oh, yeah, that's always
and it's just a one day, but it is a call to action that we put out, and people have the opportunity to give on that particular day. And so that's another large one that we'll do as well. And then our really huge one that we do in February of 2024, it's going to be February 17th, is our Mardi Gras Ball Gala.
Oh, yes, of course.
And so that's a huge one, and that's what our next really big one that we're going to be working on, trying to get a lot of sponsors involved and putting on this wonderful, fabulous event on February the 17th. We also do pinwheels for prevention, and so we sell pinwheels for an entire month, and we actually ask for donations.
Yard?
Yeah, and then we do
I guess
large
I've seen
ones or
those
small
and,
ones.
Wondered what it was for. So,
and it's for pinwheels for prevention. It's just saying that it's prevention from children, and it's basically based all on victims of crime with children. And so it's a nationwide event. Everyone does it.
Yeah, April is, we run that.
April?
Yes, and April is both Child Abuse Prevention Month and Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So the two things that we are most closely working with. So we have a variety of things that happen that month, and one of them is the fundraising event, Pinwheels for Prevention. Pinwheels are sort of nationally marked as a callback to like a childhood
carefree
innocence, carefree childhood, and so
whimsical, I think, is the word they use. Whimsical.
So by selling pinwheels, we're raising money to help work to prevent that from happening and also address it after it happens.
So do you have a need for volunteers? I mean, I would assume a lot of the people that you work with are trained.
Yes.
But
we have
a call for that.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a highly trained staff, obviously with counselors that have advanced degrees and licensure and things like that.
Right.
Our main volunteer opportunity working with clients, and I'll let Lori talk about volunteer opportunities for fundraising events, but is our 24-hour crisis hotline. I talked about that. So we have staff that respond to those calls and then offer hospital accompaniment for sexual assault survivors at the hospital, but we also have volunteers that provide that service. So they can contact us and they go through a 40-hour training and spend some time shadowing advocates is what we call them. And legally, a trained sexual assault advocate is the only person who can accompany that victim into that exam room, where then our sexual assault forensic examiner nurses provide the sexual assault exam. And
Right,
so,
because that's all gets into the whole legal aspect
Yes,
when it comes
correct,
to prosecuting
correct.
an individual.
correct. So that is our main opportunity. We have other kind of smaller ones by department, some with prevention education. We're always looking for people to help us with community outreach, whether that's being at an event with us or just to spread the word about what's happening. But then we also have volunteer opportunities at fundraising events.
Oh yeah, well you mentioned all your different
Absolutely.
activities that are coming
I'm always
up.
like, anyone that wants to volunteer, please come my direction. Please give me a name. I can even use you an hour. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
There's so much involved in the preparation of any kind of event that you do, and especially like a gala, which is huge. And this year we're trying to reach 1,000 guests. This year,
That's
I
gonna
think
be
we had
huge, yeah.
620 this last year.
Yeah.
So we really are shooting a little bit higher level this year.
You
So
know,
we're
and
excited about it.
You mentioned the pandemic, and I think people are really wanting to get out and go and do,
And it's a
especially if
fabulous
it's a
event.
good cause.
Yeah, it's so much fun. We only had positive reviews last year. People just talking about how much fun it was.
Yeah. I saw the pictures.
Yes,
on
it's
Facebook.
so much fun, and so it was. I'm so excited for this event.
And we
again
have
this
some
year.
new things that we're putting this year in the Mardi Gras Ball that no one has much utilized or you haven't seen here in the Waco area. So there are going to be some new exciting events. We're going to be changing it up a little bit this year. So we're hoping that will draw more people to come in as well. But there's always volunteer opportunities with fundraising because you're always reaching out. You're always having to, when you're putting on these big events, there's all the behind the scenes. And if you have volunteers and you have people that are willing to donate that time, I think it's, first of all, I think it makes you very happy, and I think that it's very worthwhile to give back. But at the same time, it allows for the event to run efficiently and effectively, and everybody can have a great time, and then you can feel good about it and attend the activity as well. So there's always pluses
that's
to
a
all
great-
of that. You know, we
it's a
always
win for
invite them
everybody.
to please enjoy and participate in the event as well.
Yeah.
So there are just so many different many opportunities to help with any kind of fundraising. You can talk to anyone that does it. It takes a big, huge team in order for it to make it effective and efficient for
but
everybody.
you do so much through the Advocacy Center. It is kind of now an umbrella organization that is handling several different aspects
Yes.
of meeting the needs of a child, God forbid, who has been hurt.
Correct. Yes, and we
So-
we really value. It's one of our core values is collaboration because we both internally and externally we work very closely, as I said, with law enforcement, sheriff's office, which is obviously a part of law enforcement, but CPS, Department of Family Protective Services, the district attorneys in each of our counties. They're made up of what we call our multidisciplinary team. So working together to address these cases specifically for child abuse, child sexual abuse, and then working with a variety of community partners. Our prevention and education department works with a lot of other nonprofits and with the schools, and we always need places to refer clients should they not, whether that's Family Abuse Center, if they may qualify for services there or other places. So we really value the community's partnership with us, with us and with each of our departments. And when I say community partnership, I also mean like people donating or volunteering. So we cannot do this work because it is a massive amount of work. We couldn't do it without
didn't
everyone.
have to do it.
Right. Correct.
You know,
Yes.
bottom line. But that's how it is.
Brooks Running has a new shoe for you runners out there. Did you hear that? Better turn up your volume. In fact, turn it up to the max. Introducing the all-new Ghost Max. It's got all kinds of things to make your knees and ankles feel protected, like Max Cushion, Max Soft Landings with DNA Loft V2 foam, and Max Smooth Rides with their Glide Roll Rocker. Feel better on your run with Ghost Max. Learn more at brooksrunning.com.
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, streaming January 25th, only on Netflix.
Well, I like to end these little visits with sort of a questionnaire. It's
Sure.
similar to the one that the late, great James Lipton would use on Inside the Actors Studio. So it's my take on it. Okay, so here we
great.
go. And I'll kind of bounce between the two.
Sure.
We'll start with Lori.
Okay.
What is your favorite word?
Respect
I like that. What about you?
encompasses a lot.
Oh man, my favorite word. Oh gosh, I feel really put on the spot. Is I think love. Yeah.
Yeah. What about a least favorite word?
Oh, I heard one the other day that I was like, oh, I don't prefer
I
that.
don't like that word.
Lori, do you have one? I'll let you go first, though, if you have one.
You know, being where I'm at, and even in my years in education for 39 years, we saw a lot of abuse.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the most deafening word to me
Yeah.
for anyone. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
You should not be abused.
Yeah.
So that's a word I don't
Yeah.
particularly like.
Yeah, I think mine would be like maybe can't.
Yeah. I hear that a lot.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
like hearing.
Yeah.
You're just giving up.
Yeah.
It's can't.
Okay, so what turns you on spiritually, emotionally, creatively?
I think being able to look at a big picture, and I really love sort of dreaming big and looking ahead, looking forward at what could be possible. We just had a staff training yesterday where we talked about our strategic plan and where we are and where we're going, and I love things like that. It really motivates me and gets me excited about what's possible.
Good.
Yeah.
What about you, Lori?
I'm very optimistic, have been all of my life.
Yeah, you seem like a very
Very
upbeat
much
person.
and very upbeat, and I always want to bring something to the table that is a positive. Even though we're dealing with some of the grand scale of negativity, something that's positive that can make everybody understand that even though this is not the arena people like to discuss and they don't want to talk about it, but it is something that can be made into a wonderful positive, especially giving hope and healing to these victims of crime. Someone asked me, well, why? And I just, why? Okay, why? And I said, I think everybody can identify with children. We all have them, or we've been one. When your child falls and hurts themselves, you can pick them up, put a little Band-Aid on it, kiss them, give them some ice cream, whatever, and go on your merry way, and they're happy as a lark, okay?
Yeah.
And they're going to be fine. But when you've been sexually abused or been a part of human trafficking, how do you begin to heal?
Yeah.
That takes sometimes years, a lifetime,
If it
maybe.
happens. Yeah.
And I think people can identify with that. So if that's the purpose that I am here at the center, I want to provide as much as we can as far as services to victims of crime and especially your children, because that seems to be a large population that we have.
Yeah.
So it's dear and near to my heart.
Yeah. Then conversely, what turns you off creatively or spiritually or emotionally?
Probably kind of back to my least favorite word, can't. Like when people are saying that's not possible.
Yeah, can't be done.
Can't be done. That's not possible. It's too big.
Yeah.
When I started the agency I've been at the agency for 9 years, and before I became the executive director, I was in our prevention and education department, and I often had people say to me, you're never going to end sexual violence. You're never going to prevent it from happening. It's always going to happen. And I don't agree because I don't think we could be in this work if we didn't think it was possible to prevent it from happening, for it to stop. Now, will it be in my lifetime? I don't know. But so I think that is really a turnoff for me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What about you? Lauren?
Spiritually, I think that anything can be done.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and anything can be stopped
Mm-hmm.
when it's the right time.
Mhm.
Everything is a time and a season, and we have to remember that in our lives. And so I do believe that, and my hope is that people are going to stop, or people don't want to do this and cause this within a child or an adult as well. And so I do believe that, yes, it can be stopped, and so I would love to. I'd love to lose my job. I don't know that I would still like to find something else probably to do, but
you can find something
you
else.
know,
Yeah.
I really, I would love to be able to say that it's not happening,
Mm-hmm.
and that we don't have to see the tragedy.
Yeah. What sound do you love the most?
I am very, I think the sound of running water,
Mm-hmm. I hear that a lot. from
because I
people.
think that
Yeah.
it leads you to a wonderful destination,
Yeah.
and the trickling, and just the sound of, I think, what's been created in our world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would also say water, probably more ocean
Mm-hmm.
waves.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
hear that.
yeah.
I hear that too. What sound do you hate?
This is super specific. Sound of styrofoam rubbing together. Oh my gosh. Like if I have been to a restaurant and they give us a to-go box with that, if it's sitting in my car and I can hear it, oh no, it's terrible.
That's good.
That's funny. I've never thought about that one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, but I think I've heard that
that's
before
so
from
funny.
a guest. Yeah.
I think it's the bubble wrap pulp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
And-
really? You don't like popping it?
I don't. Well, you know, children love to do it so much, and it was like, okay, that's enough. That's you had so much, and now they make the little things now.
Yeah, to
that's actually do it, and I'm
to
like,
actually
oh
do-
my stars. Okay.
Well, but it doesn't make a noise. It's just kind of, if I'm thinking of what you're
Oh,
thinking
yeah,
of,
the
you
pop-
just
yeah.
kind of
It
push
Kind of a
does.
fidget.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
more sensory,
A little
but
little
I
worry
have to
thing.
laugh because children do love doing that. And you know, stepping on. I don't know. That's just. I think it's over the years.
Yeah.
You know, of hearing it, and it's something that they all want to do, or roll up in it and hear it just pop, 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 pop.
You got a big sheet of.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, what other profession would you like to have tried? Because you say you've been kind of in this work for many years. now.
You have.
Yes. That's such a great question. I think anything that would have put me working in or around the ocean, I think.
Yeah, there
would
we
have
go.
been- Yeah,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
call back to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
If I had my ultimate dream, I did have an ultimate dream of owning my own Montessori school. I would love to be able to teach it to others that are interested and do it internationally as well.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that would
the
be
Montessori
a
method
wonderful dream.
It's an amazing thing. What job do you know you wouldn't want to do?
I do not. Well, never mind. Do you have one?
That's okay. You
I
can
was gonna
whatever.
say one, and then I realized, well, I was gonna say I don't know that I would want to be a teacher, but then I realized I
kinda what I-
spent 9 years basically doing
Sorta
that.
what I did.
That's hilarious.
I don't think I would want to be an accountant.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't think I would want to be anything that works in a hospital.
Yeah. No, and I've
Any
heard that
profession
before.
in the hospital. I just
Yeah.
choose. I could be a doctor, because I'd have to be in the hospital some. But I don't. That's just a place I don't like
Yeah.
to have to go.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Last question. When you arrive at the pearly gates, what do you want to hear the Lord say?
two things: that my name was written in the book of life, and second, that Yeshua too would say, "I know you."
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess maybe welcome.
Yeah.
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 Come on in.
Yeah. Well, I have to say you both are just doing such an amazing work for people who are really kind of at the worst point in their lives, and young people at that. And so I thank you both
Yeah.
for that and your time and what all you do, Ellie Estrel and Lori McCarter with the Advocacy Center for Crime Victims and Children. And you can go online. The phone number is
752-9330.
Yeah.
And they can just simply ask for me or ask for anyone. They'll know where to put me through. Bernie's very good at the front desk. Or they could go on our website at www.advocacycentercntr.org and go to our website and find out lots of information and be able to even donate if you want monthly or yearly, or there's many ways in order to be a part of the Advocacy Center.
They could use the help.
Yes,
Absolutely.
And we also have, I'll just say really quickly, social media. We're very active on social media, both Facebook and Instagram. You can find us at Advocacy Waco. And our prevention department, which I mentioned earlier, they have their own Instagram account, and it's at ACCVC_prevention. And they actually have a podcast.
Okay, good.
And it is called Real Relationship Goals. And it's 15 to 20 minutes, conversation starters or conversations about healthy relationships. And so they have a lot of fun with that. So those are a couple of other places you can find us.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you both.
Thank you so much
you.
for having
Thank
us.
you for being with us, and we'll see you again next time on Central Texas Life. Bye-bye.
Central Texas Life with Ann Harder is part of the Rogue Media family. Be sure to check out our other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate this show 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Life with Ann Harder. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.